And I turn back around, and from me to you, which is about 4 to 5 yards, this elk is standing up looking at me. Me and the elk make eye contact. I remember dropping the phone and just going for the gun absolutely as fast as I could. My name's David. I like to camp, sleep in my truck sometimes. I love hunting and fishing, and I love anything photography. But today I wanted to relive a hunt that just absolutely sticks in my mind and is my favorite hunt, hands down. So I guess we'll call this Hunt Stories. So hands down, my favorite hunt ever was this one right here. It was a hunt for a bull that, I was 19 years old and I killed probably arguably one of the better bulls I'll probably ever kill on a DIY hunt, DIY public land over the counter tag hunt in, I don't even want to say it, but I was in Colorado. And that place gets unbelievably hammered by people. And I'm going to start out by going ahead and answering the question. No, I did not get this thing shoulder mounted because I was a 19-year-old guy who wanted to go out elk hunting again, and I couldn't afford to get this thing mounted because elk mounts are really expensive. But anyway, the story behind this bull. I was 19 years old. I do not have anybody to hunt with me, but I'm bound and determined that I'm gonna go enjoy this, and I don't care if anybody hunts with me. I'm gonna go out there and at least be hunting somewhere. I wanted to go out west and hunt. I'd always wanted to, and I thought, well, this is a good chance to. So I got out there. I started doing a little bit of scouting. Figured out that a lot of the places I was going to hunt were just absolutely overrun by people. Colorado is a great state to go elk hunting in, but then again, it's also like if you want to get your butt whipped, there's only a few states that you can get over the counter tags in for elk, and Colorado is one of them. So the first day I started out, I go out there and I'm hunting on a spot that I didn't know that you couldn't. I did not know you could drive four-wheelers on. So I go up there and I'm hunting, and I remember there just being I remember walking in a long ways and then four-wheelers passing me going in. There's nothing in this world that can bring you down quicker than if you were walking so far into a trail and you're way back there and then a four-wheeler comes up behind you, passes you, and keeps going. Second day of the hunt, I walked I think 7 or 8 miles in, found some good sign. I don't remember finding a whole lot of elk. Where I was hunting was super thick, to be honest with you, and I could not see very far. I knew there had to be elk in this area, and I see this ravine down, and everybody walks up this one certain way. And on the other side of this ravine, it goes up on this little plateau, and I don't know of anybody going up there, and no tracks go up there, no people tracks go up there. And so I got back, I called Department of Wildlife just to make sure it was under a different name, but I knew it was still public, so I just wanted to do my due diligence. I called them to make sure hey, this is public hunting, I can go in here and hunt, right? Yes, it is, you can go hunting that. Sweet. So third day in, I have possibly found a spot that's kind of overlooked. It's only about 2.5 to 3 miles in, so I'm going up there and I'm slipping up there that afternoon. That morning I had heard some elk up in that area. So it's just towards the end of the rut, and the elk are still talking. They're still herded up, and they're still bugling every once in a while. So I'd heard some elk in this area. I drop down, I go over there that afternoon, and as I'm slipping through the timber, I see this blonde blob out in front of me, and I see that it's an elk. It's a bull standing at about 80 to 85 yards away from me, and I kind of peek around, and there's another one. I start slipping up a little closer. I actually pick my gun up. I notice a third bull. There's 3 small bulls 85 yards from me, and I'm thinking, I can shoot this bull right now. It's a just legal bull. He's 100% legal, but I just decided that I was man, I know there's bigger bulls in here. I wanted to shoot one that was decently mature and the one that I felt happy with. That's just my goals. And honestly, it's cost me some bulls in the past, but I wanted to shoot a good representation of what I felt like was a mature bull. and these just were not it. Letting those bulls pass was the best decision I ever made. Fast forward to that, 4th morning, I'm walking in, and it is pitch black dark. I'm getting close to where the bulls were the day before, and all of a sudden I smell something. The year before was my first bull that I'd ever killed. So when I killed that bull, I remember smelling him. I remember smelling how just like distinct the must was. I dropped my backpack, I put 2 bullets in the gun, and I started creeping up. So remember when I say I only had 2 bullets in the gun. When I started creeping up, you know, I was just on my hands and knees pretty much, and I had to clear one more bench before I could see a good little ways out in front of me. So I'm crawling up there, and I get to the top of the bench. I get next to a tree, and I look up, and I can see a cow elk, and she's probably 60 yards, okay? And I see another cow. Okay, I'm like, okay, well there's got to be a bull in here. There's a couple cows, and I see another cow, and another cow, and another cow, and there's 15 cows filing through, going up the mountain. And I remember just getting chill bumps, thinking like, oh my gosh, I know there has to be a bull in this herd right here. There's too many cows. If I'm just patient right here, I'm gonna get a shot at a good bull. And I was sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting, and these elk were within 60 yards of me. And then all of a sudden, I see antler tips coming. I remember just getting like chill bumps like crazy. I'm getting chill bumps right now talking about it. I remember thinking, man, this is the biggest elk I have ever seen. I remember thinking that. And at like 60 yards, he looked huge. And I was on my stomach pretty much, rested up like this right here. If he stops, boom, shoot him. And first thing he does was he turned dead away from me when I shot. Well, in my mind, I went in panic mode thinking, oh my gosh, I missed him. So when he turns away from me, I rack another bullet. He turns a little more, and like I have a clear enough shot to get it into his vitals, I think, and I shoot again. This elk dropped like a pile of rocks, and I remember just being so fired up. And the first thing I do when that elk drops was I call my dad, and I am fired up. Gosh, I remember calling him, and he answered it, and he was fired up for me and so excited. And I'm talking to him, and the elk's laying 50 to 55 yards from me. I'm on the phone with him. And I remember it being like a few minutes, but I walk up there and the elk has not moved, like he's dead. So I'm on the phone, I got my phone in one hand, my gun in the other. I turn this way right here, I lay my gun down, and I hear something. And I turn back around, and from me to you, which is about 4 to 5 yards, this elk is standing up looking at me. Me and the elk make eye contact. I have never in my life felt so small. I remember dropping the phone and just going for the gun absolutely as fast as I could. I grabbed the gun. By this time, the elk is running down the hill. Remember when I said I only put 2 bullets in the gun? I grab another bullet, put it in the gun. He's about 85 yards, shoot, hit him, and that was the end of it right there. So when this thing is looking down at you, I promise you, I don't care how big you are, you feel like a kid. I was shooken up so bad. I called my dad back, and he was like, I thought you were getting gored or something over there. I heard the whole thing. It's a memory that will go with me the rest of my life. So it was a huge amateur mistake. I learned from that 100%, and like I was just so excited at the moment that when I walked up to him, I thought it had been a little bit longer, and just so happened that elk are pretty tough creatures, and I learned that firsthand. So after I walked up to him, I started taking pictures of the elk and like just reliving that and just soaking in that moment to like, man, as a 19-year-old kid that has dreamed about an elk hunt my entire life, and that has always wanted to go out there and just always had a fascination with animals and all that kind of stuff, and my number one dream hunt growing up was to go elk hunting. I never thought that I would ever have the chance to. So being able to go out there and, kill an elk, 2 years in a row, I felt like I was on top of the world. So I started taking pictures of the elk. It started snowing, so I go back to the truck, I get some things there, and my grandmother was staying in a cabin in town, so I drove and picked her up because she wanted to see the elk that I had just killed. My 74-year-old grandmother packs up her backpack and walks up this hill with me. After all the blowdowns and that stuff, we make it up that hill. Alright? Once we got up there, I started cutting up the elk, and she was part of the whole process, getting to see me do that. And I'm packing down the hill. I get back for the first load. I decide, okay, well, I'm gonna take a little break. I'm gonna go back up there because it's snowing, like it's plenty cold enough. I go back up, grab some more meat, come back down, and then I'm going up for my last load. So I decided, like, listen, there's no way I'm coming back up here for another load. I'm gonna load everything. I'm gonna get everything in this backpack, and I'm gonna drag whatever I have to behind me. So I'd gone and bought a little plastic sled because it was snowing. I thought, okay, well, I'll drag part of this elk out. So great idea, and absolutely terrible sled. So there's so much blowdown in this area that when you're pulling a sled over the blowdown, and it's not like the most sturdy sled in the world, it tends to break. So the sled breaks. I'm stuck like halfway down the mountain with so I've got a elk quarter on my back, which is about 75 to 80 pounds, and then I've got in a backpack that is not meant for that, and then I've got a 65 pound front shoulder. I take the rest of the hind quarter, and all I have with me, and I'm thinking I'm not coming back up this mountain. I take my pair of frog tog pants my dad sent with me, and I throw the elk quarter in the frog togs. I drag this elk probably 2.5, 3 miles down this hill. Felt like almost meat hooks in my back and my shoulders. That's how much pain it was. 2.5, 3 miles down this hill. I get to the truck, and it is by far the hardest thing I have ever done in my life, and it's something that, like I said, that will stick with me forever. But I remember just absolutely loving every second of it. The first chance you get to go elk hunting, jump on it and take it. I promise you it'll be a memory that you will never, ever, ever forget. That is the story of my favorite elk hunt, and the biggest bull that I've ever killed. And it's a bull that I absolutely love. I know this is a lot different than most of the vlogs I've done, but like I said, I wanted to relive some of these moments and be able to share some of the stories, and I want you guys to learn about me, and I want to learn about y'all. It set the stage for me wanting to go out west every year. If you check out my Instagram, it's a lot of like mountainy, western vibe kind of deal, and like this elk is part of the reason why. So I hope you guys enjoyed this hunt story. I've got a lot more, but like I said, this is my favorite elk that I've ever killed. And now I'm on this quest to kill a big mule deer. I've always wanted to. I have not yet. I've killed several mule deer, but I have not killed the truly mature one that I'm after. So if you guys enjoyed this hunt story, hit that like button. If you don't mind, subscribing helps me out a lot. And I will catch you guys next week.